was 18, I was lucky enough to go to Alabama with the civil rights marches in 1965, where we were beaten by posse men on horses with clubs and whips because we wanted people to be allowed to vote in this country. And so that was the start of my search for freedom, and it started politically. And so I became a political revolutionary after that. I was in Chicago in '68 during the Democratic Convention and the uprising against the government in the Vietnam War. And that ended up, I became a federal fugitive in 1971 when we tried to stop the government during May Days. And that's what led me to my spiritual path. So as a federal fugitive with guns and dynamite and not knowing what to do, my heart was being torn open by the question, how do I take a life in the name of life? And this question became burning in me until finally one night in my cabin, I was in my cabin in Colorado in the mountains, I had to face my own death. And I found I wasn't willing to kill, but I was willing to die. And I died that night, and I woke up. And in dying, I met death, faced my death, and I wanted my death to at least be used to call for help. I didn't know if there was a God or not. I didn't believe in God. But if there was a God, I knew God could not know what's going on down here. And if my death, I could then reach God and let God know the madness on earth. And I woke up in that. I found myself in what I called outer space, alive as immortal consciousness. And at that point I knew if I could pass this on, if everybody could know what I realized, the world would come to peace. And that became my mission. And it took me 18 years to find my teacher. And exactly 18 years to the day, I walked into my teacher's room in India, and I knew I was looking at my own self and that the search was over, that everything that I knew was true, and that here was someone embodying it, my own self in a human form, looking back at me, recognizing, loving, and saying yes. All beliefs are traps. The most spiritual beliefs are traps. The belief that we're all one, the belief that we're all enlightened, that we're all God's children, the belief that we're all, and it's only an ego, it's only a story, the belief, whatever the belief is, it's a trap. It's a trap. It's a way of conceptualizing the truth and missing the truth. Because the concepts of the truth are actually lies. And actually, waking up is losing everything. Nothing to attain, nothing to get, nothing to transform into, nothing to become. It's the end of all that. You know, we're here with the opportunity to wake up and realize the truth. That's our possibility. You know, I don't know if it's true in other species, but I know it's true for us, that we have the reflective capacity for consciousness to return to the source, to find the truth of who we are. And in that, we're fulfilled. When I found out I had this cancer, it's a kind of blood cancer that destroys the bones. I had a broken back, and that's how they found it. And so I was in the hospital. I was facing my death, and my numbers were off the charts. I was in the last stage of an incurable, virulent cancer that they said sometimes it smolders, but I was having like a 10-alarm fire. And I was facing death. I have no complaints. There were no prayers to save me, no prayers for healing. Hey, if death is what's happening now, I'm grateful. And if I live through it, I'm grateful. Either way, I'm grateful. So being afraid is not a problem. It's just what you do with it. And so if you're afraid and you're willing anyway to stay true to yourself, fear is not a problem. If fear runs your life, if I'm afraid and that means I can't do this because I might lose that, I can't do this because I might lose this, I might die, I might da-da-da, then fear is in charge. Then you're a slave of fear. And as long as you're a slave of fear, whether you have billions of dollars or no money at all, it's all a slave system. If you're willing to be afraid and it doesn't matter, to be afraid and still stay true to the truth, then fear's an ally. So you can become enlightened about anything. You can learn how to repair a car engine, and now you're enlightened about how car engines work. So wherever there was darkness, you shine the light. Traditionally, classically, it's shining the light on the ignorance of our own nature. And the thing about ignorance is that the root of it is ignore. And so all of us, as identified as human beings, we're ignoring the truth of ourselves. And ignoring the truth of ourselves, we're in ignorance. When you shine the light, the darkness disappears. You don't have to fight with the darkness. You don't have to scrub it or clean it or transform it. You shine the light, there's no more darkness. It's that simple. So the light of consciousness shines back on its own source. We reach enlightenment. First of all, you have to know what you want. First step. Most people never know what they really want. They know what they're genetically predisposed to and what they're culturally and familial, what their family has conditioned them to. So our family wants, our society wants, our genetic wants run our lives. All humans, all animals. We run by survival, sex, and relationship. That's what runs almost everyone's life. Survival, sex, relationship. And then we put a story on top of it. It's not really about sex, survival, and relationship. It's about, I fell in love, and then this happened, and that happened. And we create fantasies to justify our basic animal drives. And in that we live in ignorance. So first you have to find out what you want. Most people don't want to wake up. Most people want a better dream. I want a more spiritual relationship. That's just a better dream. I want peace. I want peace in my life. Well, you can get an IV drip for peace. If you're searching for that, you're looking in the wrong direction. If what you want is the truth, if what you want is reality, what you want is to know yourself, that becomes then the burning passion. Instead of the passion of me, it becomes a passion of I must know the truth. Before that, it's all the passion of me and my life, and me and mine. And if you go for what you really want of the truth, if that's more important, if finding freedom is more important, then me and mine disappear. And if me and mine disappear for a moment, you're free. Most people say, oh, I can't because I'm blocked by fear, or I feel there's separation, or all kinds of reasoning and excuses really means I'm not willing. If you're willing, so what if you're afraid? If you're willing, so what if you're blocked? If you're willing, whatever it takes, you're willing to meet it. And in that, you find freedom, because what you're searching for is your own self. How far could you be from that? Awakening has been here for thousands of years. And now, it's spreading, it's reaching. The wave has now washed onto this shore. And it will continue to deepen and spread, and then it will wash across the world. And then, who knows how it will turn out. But it's possible for everyone to wake up and be free. Just like we all have basic human rights, we all have the capacity to wake up and realize the truth of ourselves. Everyone. We're all the same. It's the same heart, the same mind. Really, there's only one. And when we realize that, everyone can be free. Everyone can be happy.